Hello and welcome back to Pride of Anglia here at the start of Season 6. Last time we defied all the odds to secure promotion to the Championship with Northampton Town, and our squad is barely even League 1 standards, so we are going to be absolutely slaughtered without some major work. But there isn't anywhere else in the region available to go to, and that's the rule of the challenge, even if Newcastle apparently want us. It's safe to say we have a lot of work to do because this team is not good enough for the Championship. We have at least got more funding than we usually do to fix it though. We should probably sort out our own future first. I'll give it a week or so to see if anyone wants to sign Lee Bowyer from Norwich, and then I'll sign a new deal here if not. The fact that two of his former clubs have vacancies gives me some slight hope, and that it's the World Cup. Sheffield United are the first team to offer me an interview. I obviously have to decline given the geographical restrictions. Have you heard of this guy called Lee though? As the days tick by, it doesn't seem like he's going anywhere though. So let's sign on the dotted line here. We don't want to end up with nothing, and ultimately our buyout clause won't ever be that expensive. A 2-year deal on an even $5,000 a week should leave us free if the Norwich job does come up mid-season, or the Ipswich job I suppose. My first act is to renew Josh Feeney's loan, only it turns out it already runs for next season anyway. I don't remember extending it, so I must have done it for 2 years last summer. Oh well, good news. But as an example of the major work we need to do, Jordan Maguire-Drew's contract is up. He's been a dependable player over the last 2 seasons who's helped us up into the Championship. My assistant assesses him as National League level. It's an issue. Although we do have money to spend, it always pays to be frugal, and given the wage budget especially could run out pretty quickly, frees, I think, are still the obvious way to go for most of our business. Although there really aren't many people of quality interested even if we do spend. Given his excellent performances last season, I renew Francis Wilson's loan from Millwall once again. Makes sense to keep someone who knows the system and actually is good enough. And then the board announced we can scout all of Europe for players. We still only have a scouting budget which can afford a divisional package though. Liam Wrighthall decides to retire, did some decent things for us early on. Of the other expiring contracts, Nelson Combani is the only one to get a new deal, and we say goodbye to Rolando Aarons, DJ Campton Sturridge, Callum Harriott, Ashley Nadeson, David Titov, and above all, Jordan Maguire-Drew and Declan John. The last two especially will be missed. And you know what time it is. Time for signings. I agreed deals for 3 people on freeze before their contracts expired. Paul Glatesall joins from Colchester, looks like a decent upgrade on the right. Hayden Hackney joins from Middlesbrough as a well-rounded midfield option, and then an early punt. Nathan Reed on a free from Chelsea. Insanely quick, not amazing but not terrible technicals and mentals. As a striker or right winger he could do okay. Kieran Freeman leaves to return to Wales, joining TNS. A game changer, but he's 34 and had that massive injury last year. Lewis Thompson joins him soon after as well. Oh yeah, and I signed Mick McCarthy as a scout, and Italy won the World Cup. Given we are in the Championship, we definitely can spend some actual money on players, and that's probably sensible. And the first we go for is Kofi Balmer from Larne for £155,000. Aside from maybe tackling, he looks good at centre back and will likely start alongside Feeney. And then we spend 20k on Greg Kilty from Dundee to hopefully solve the issue of the left hand side. Conal Truman joins on a free from Rochdale to back up Leonard in goal, looks solid enough. We then part with £210,000 to sign Sean Ruffin from Lincoln as our new left back. Now this is a quality signing, looks excellent across the board. Professional Tom Holland impersonator Luke O'Nien joins on a free from Sunderland as a new right back who is also extremely adept in midfield. While we sign Wallace Duffy from Airdrie for £35,000 is a bit of a punt backup. He's not quick but otherwise well rounded. Brandon Fleming joins for free from Rotherham as a backup on the left side as well. Again, decent and no money spent. Slim pickings at left wing aside from Kilty, but I think Josh Hawkes on loan from Wigan is an improvement on everyone else we have. And then because I'm not entirely convinced Reed is the answer, and because he looks amazing, we signed David Treller from Hamilton for £250,000. Our biggest outlay, but I really think that it's worth it. I have concerns regarding the midfield still. Concerns Alex Hunt from Lincoln for £135,000 should hopefully address. £4,000 a week is a lot for a guy with 7 natural fitness, but he's got everything else and should hopefully tie us all together. And then, probably finally, we bring back Will Mannion permanently after his release by QPR as our 3rd choice goalkeeper. We might still sign someone else, and I'd imagine there'll be some departures, but I think that's everything major taken care of, £775,000 spent on 14 players, which massively improved the squad's quality. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see what the media think. And last, 100 to 1 worse off than Fleetwood. I can accept being considered for relegation, but how are we worse than them? Make no mistake though, this division is stacked this year. Newcastle and West Ham have found themselves here, never mind everyone else. I'd say we have a 0% chance of promotion, nor do I want it, but I reckon we'll have enough to beat the drop. And what better way to start life in the Championship than a local derby against Ipswich Town? This is certainly a test, but seems winnable. As long as we don't disgrace ourselves, our reputation should be fine come what may. The team for this one is obviously much changed from last season. Chris Leonard keeps his place in goal. Despite his initial issues, he's really developing well. The defence is mostly changed. Ruffin, Barmer and 09 come in alongside Feeney. Midfield is more familiar with Combani now the captain, anchoring Wilson and Hackney. Hunt would be playing, but he is suspended. Kilty starts on the left with Reed on the right, as Glatzel stupidly injured himself lifting weights in training. Trella starts up front. And Trella has the first chance as an early move sees him hit the post. We absolutely dominate the first 15 minutes and a goal seems inevitable, and as a Ruffin cross goes in, Reed heads home our first of the season. In the second half, Hackney intercepts brilliantly, then Trella slides in Kilty to slot home a second. And then after Reed is hacked down, Jed Garner steps up off the bench to show he can still offer something at this level. 3-0, an absolute masterclass. Total domination. You wouldn't have known we're a newly promoted side with 8 new players in the team. A treat for the fans, and there'll be almost 2,000 more regulars this year. Our first round Carabao Cup match is away at Port Vale, and the rotated side smashed them 5-0. This is certainly a good start, folks. And as Norwich lose to Stoke in a potentially decisive early game, we travel to Cardiff. And it's a thriller minute 0-0 with no highlights. Decent point though. The stadium expansion is finished just in time for the visit of newly relegated Stoke, and the first half indicates the struggles we may have this year as the Potters dominate. A goal feels inevitable, and sure enough, Hanson Aaron runs through just before half time to give them one. In the second half we take the ascendancy though, and with a slice of luck the ball comes to Trella, whose deft finish opens his account for the club. And then 10 minutes later, Mikael Njoli comes off the bench to unleash a wonder strike to give us a shock lead and a shock win. Okay, well, never mind Norwich, maybe we'll just stay here. Our Carabao Cup second round game against Bristol Rovers is a 2-1 win, a spirited performance from the second string. We end the month against Derby, who we of course lost a penalty shootout to last year. Wayne Rooney has been replaced by David Moyes after leaving to take charge of Reading, who needed to replace Lewis Boamorte, who decided to abandon his newly promoted side to instead manage Newcastle in the Championship. Okay, I can understand that. One thing is for certain, they play much better than we do. A simple goal starts things off, and then they score a cracker to seal it as we do nothing except fall back down to reality. September begins with Nicky Simon showing his loyalty by rejecting a job offer from Bournemouth. If we do ever get the Norwich job, you'll be coming too. Huddersfield are a solid test on where we'll be at this season. The first half is sparse on highlights, save really for a classically slick move which sees Alex Hunt lash home an opener. In the second half, some sloppy play allows them in, but Leonard makes an excellent save to keep us in front, before making another great one not long after. And then in the final moments, Huddersfield make a mistake of their own, and Wilson nestles an effort in off the post to seal another excellent win. And then we back that up with our first away league win of the season against Charlton, Reed and Wilson with the goals in a 2-0 triumph, which actually sends us top, temporarily at least. Nigel Pearson gets the sack at Luton, but my sights are well beyond Kenilworth Road now. It's Norwich or it's Northampton to the end. And speaking of Norwich, they are next. The first time we played them in the save, and they haven't made an amazing start. If we can beat them, maybe they'll sack Lee Bowyer and we can replace him. We have the only chances of the first half, both of which see Trella force a decent save from Walton. In the second, he flicks a header in again, but this time the rebound is slotted away by Barmer to give us a shock lead. Leonard makes a good save from Coman, who proceeds to then get sent off for handball, then Greg Kilty wheels away to double our advantage. Minutes later, Dominic Solanke pulls a goal back, but they don't do anything else as we control possession and see out another famous win. We go top again, but this time everyone's played the same number of games. Okay, this is pretty ridiculous now. Also, if we've beaten Ipswich and Norwich, does that mean that we are officially the Pride of Anglia now? In the traditional sense maybe, but obviously not for the purposes of the save. We face Brighton in the Carabao Cup third round, which is winnable but not a priority, so I fully rotate and we lose, but it's a spirited performance. The month ends with Birmingham City and it ends with a bit of an epic. We have a hatful of chances but only score 2, leading twice, throwing it away twice, and all the more frustrating as we have a perfectly legitimate goal ruled offside. Indeed, for the first time ever in my FM playing life, I slag the referee off for it, and the FA gives silent acknowledgement that I'm right. I helpfully wasn't recording the original, but yep, definitely should have been given. Now ordinarily that would be that, as we've had the 4 months, but in order to stop the middle episode of the season being ridiculously massive in terms of games, and as this one hasn't been that long, I'm going for the first 3 games of October as well, just to confuse things. Josh Feeney wins September's Young Player of the Month. He's been with us since the start of our time here and just keeps getting better. We get second in Manager of the Month, which is not bad going. Norwich then go and lose again. Guys, I think you might need a new manager. We have the evening kickoff versus bitter rivals Peterborough, who have the same points tally as us so far, also as a newly promoted side. But which is better? There's only one way to find out. The first half flies by until a hilarious defensive mix-up from Posh allows Trella to rifle into an empty net for 1-0. But we failed to capitalise on it, and with 10 minutes left they come forwards with Sibley finding Channel legend Adam Eder to equalise. How have they managed to get Adam? I would have snapped him up in a heartbeat. Oh well, at least we didn't lose. And if Peterborough were bad enough, Fleetwood got promoted via the playoffs last season, meaning they followed us all the way up from League 2 like some kind of stalker. When they go down to 10 men 20 minutes in, I figure it will go one of 2 ways, and sure enough, literally nothing happens until when Jolly misses a late chance. 0-0, what a waste. As Reece James departs on loan, we end today with what I think is the final local derby we have yet to face. I'm not sure we ever played MK Dons, but I think we've played all the other eligible sides. And now, Luton, the team we could have skipped straight to when we were managing in the National League. I'm glad we didn't. Luton are bottom of the league and they've just hired a new manager, so you know how this goes. It really does feel like it's going to be one of those days again as we trigger the goal line technology with this chance, and then as time fades we have not 1 but 2 offside goals. But as hope prepares to die, Dizelle comes off the bench to save our bacon with a delightful keeper chip. 1-0 and a win all the sweeter as Norwich lose again. Normally when we focus on another team's results, it's because we're competing with them. In this case, I just want that job. Or maybe not, because we shoot up to 3rd with that win. Very early still, but we're not seriously about to be promoted again, are we? Despite Norwich's appalling start, Lee Bowyer doesn't seem in any imminent danger. But anyway, there we are. Pretty excellent start, I'd say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time where anything can and likely will happen.